Democrats and the media overcome with emotion after President Biden announced he will no longer seek re-election. Watch.
Then you just cry. Because this is somebody that you love. This is somebody that you care about. This is somebody who was there for you. This is somebody you wouldn't be here without him. And you had to take something from him.
Joe Biden is grounded. He's grounded in his faith, in his family, and in our state. Excuse me. I'm sorry. This was a very difficult decision.
There was very little indication from people close to him and many people in the campaign that this was what was about to happen.
What a patriot. What an act of selfless devotion to your country.
Fox News contributor Joe Concha joins us now. Joe, he's a patriot today, but those same people were saying he's unfit to serve and should drop out of the race on Saturday. So what do you think about that emotional reaction?
If I got to see this unselfish comment one more time, guys, that, oh, he did this for the country. He went out kicking and screaming. He did not want this to happen. His own party forced him out, not for good of country, not because they're unselfish, because they know this man had no shot of winning. So now they want a do-over after they destroyed the primary process. As for all these emotional outbursts that we saw on the air yesterday, Carly, this is just another sign of an overall theme of this campaign, and that is weakness versus strength. You see weakness with Chris Coons crying on the air. You see weakness with Joe Biden still in hiding after being diagnosed with COVID, 5 days ago? He says he's not going to run for re-election. We don't see him in front of a camera. What's that about? And obviously weakness with the party leaders, so to speak, like Barack Obama, who had to hide behind George Clooney in order to get the message out that Joe Biden should step aside, or Nancy Pelosi hiding behind Adam Schiff to say that this man should not seek re-election. So that's what we're looking at here. Strength, like we saw at the Republican National Convention. I was there. The energy, enthusiasm, optimism, and most importantly, the confidence that we saw out of everybody that was speaking there and everybody that was in that crowd was palpable. And we haven't seen a convention quite that good since 2008 and the Democrats and Barack Obama. Weakness, obviously, everything I explained with the Democrats. That's what this campaign appears to be about right now, especially in light of Donald Trump obviously surviving not only that assassination attempt, but getting back up saying fight, fight, fight. And 2 days later, he's in Milwaukee at his own convention. Just an incredible contrast at this point, Todd.
Yeah, and I think it's an important contrast that you do point out. But going a step further and kind of digging a little deeper, is this media meltdown all part of a play to basically distract the voter from the Democrats, the media, all these people that basically stabbed Joe Biden in the back? Obama, you mentioned him. He wrote a letter. Joe Biden was the greatest person in the history of life. But 24 hours ago, you stabbed him in the back and basically were calling up donors and saying, we're done with Joe. So is this all part of a media whitewashing to try to convince the voters that, they weren't mean to Joe? This just happened. This was Joe's own decision.
It's all just so phony. I think a lot of people see through this. Then you look at Kamala Harris's favorability rating, and she's at 38%. That is the lowest of any sitting vice president at this stage of a first term. That is the high water mark for Kamala Harris, because guess what now? Now she becomes the focus. She might actually have to do this thing called a press conference, which she has not done. Remember, she ran for president in 2020 and couldn't even get to 2020. She had to drop out in late 2019 because Democratic voters rejected her that much. And that entire time, she never did a press conference. She never has once as vice president. Mike Pence did plenty, so don't give me that argument. Now, finally, she's going to have to actually answer questions. And just like Joe Biden, Todd and Carly, when you take her out of the teleprompter and out of scripted remarks, there's something broken about her brain where she has trouble answering basic questions like, hey, why haven't you been to the border more? And remember one time she answered to NBC, well, I haven't been to Europe either. Oh, okay, great answer. And, oh, yeah, Ms. Harris, why did you cover up for 3.5 years when you were as close to the president as almost anybody outside of the first lady, his mental and physical decline that was obvious to us? But you kept saying that, oh, well, behind closed doors, he's actually Simone Biles and he's beating Garry Kasparov at chess when they play virtually. So how do you account for that lie exactly, man? And then you just go down the list as far as Democrats, to your point, Todd, still have to own cost of living up 20%, gas prices up 50%, crime driving Americans out of major American cities run by Democrats, 10 million people coming across the border, including hundreds of terrorists on the terror watch list, and foreign policy as far as the world feeling like it's on fire. So all those things don't change because Kamala Harris is now the Democratic nominee or likely Democratic nominee. And again, in Chicago, it's going to be absolute chaos outside of that arena and probably inside, with many Democrats probably still thinking that, hey, wait a minute, Joe Biden should be our nominee, not Kamala Harris. Don't expect a complete coalescing behind her, despite some of the statements that we've seen so far. Most importantly, Barack Obama has not endorsed her yet now, has he? Why is that?
Yeah, and how will the media cover Kamala Harris over the next few weeks? I think we all know the answer to that. Joe, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.
Thanks, Joe.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.